Hello, my name is Kez. I'm with Team Docs, and I'm going to demonstrate our Battleship game with all of the error handling that we've taken care of and gameplay and all of that fun stuff. All right, so I'm going to start here by running the server. And now I'm going to open one client and let's learn a little bit about this first page. So this is going to be the landing page. Here you can register or log in. So let's try to log in with a name that we know doesn't exist yet. So I know that XX does not exist, so I'm going to try and log in. The username is invalid, so we're going to need to try again. Now, I know that I have an account on here because our accounts persist even after the server shuts down and comes back on. So I'm going to say Kez, but I'm going to put in the wrong password and try to log in. But the password is invalid, so we have to try it yet again. So what else can I do? Well, I can try to sign up with a duplicate username. So we already know that Kez exists, so let's try to sign up. The username already exists, we have to try again. So enough of this. I'm going to log in with no password because I didn't actually add a password. All right, so now I'm logged in, and this brings us to the second page. This is our game selection page. On this page, it's going to show the users that exist so far, at least, or at most 5 of them, and their scores. None of us have any scores yet. On the right-hand side, it's going to show any available games. Now, since I'm the only client that has joined, there are no available games, so I'll start one. All right, so now that I've started a game, let's start another client and see what they see. All right, so here we go. I've started another client and we'll skip past all the error handling here. All right, so now Gabe has logged in and he can see the game that Kez started over here. Now he can select this one and start playing, but I want to show another error handling trick that we implemented here. So let's start one more client. And I'm going to minimize this to give a better view of what's going on here. All right, let's have Daniel log in. All right, so now Gabe and Daniel are both logged in and they both can see Kez's open game. So what happens if one of them joins Kez's game and then the other one tries to join Kez's game as well? There are only 2 players to this game, so let's check it out. Gabe has joined the game with Kez, and now these 2 clients are connected. Let's see what happens when Daniel tries. Oh no, the game is no longer available and the page has refreshed. So now that the page is refreshed, we see that there are no available games to join. So Daniel's pretty hurt over this, so he's going to just delete his account. All right, let's move that to the side now. And let's take a closer look at these 2 clients. So I'm going to show some error handling when it comes to placing ships on the board. So for starters, here is a normal situation. You place your ship wherever you'd like it. You can rotate it if you'd like. And then when you have accepted the location, click next. So here are some errors. You could place the ship so that part of it is outside of the window. And in that case, it's not going to accept this position. It's going to call the coordinates invalid and ask you to move back onto the grid. So we move it onto the grid, the error message disappears, and we can accept that location. So what is another error that we might expect? Well, what if we overlap 2 ships? That should also be a problem. Invalid coordinates, please remove ship collision. There we go. All right, so let's just place the rest of our ships anywhere we would like. There we go. And now this client is ready to go. So they're going to press play. And now they're going to wait for the opponent to place their ships. All right, so let's just place these really quick. Oh, and just to show, this is also considered outside of the window, so it's not going to accept it. All right, so now this client is ready to play. And now Gabe and Kez are both in the gameplay page. So now that we've left the staging page and we're ready to play our game, I'll describe a little bit about the layout here. So as you can see on the left-hand side, you can actually see the ships on the grid. That means that that is your grid, and it's representing what ships of yours have been hit and what ships of yours have been missed and what ships of yours have sunk. You'll notice on the bottom, there's a list of names. If one of your ships sinks, the ship over here is going to turn red and the name is going to be crossed out. If you look to the right-hand side of the same window, you're going to see your opponent's grid. So in this case, it's Gabe's grid. This is where you click to attack your opponent. And the result of the attack is going to be a white X if it's a miss and a red X if it's a hit. Similarly, when you click over here, it's going to send your attack over to your opponent, and that's going to register on their grid. So let's see this in action. I'm going to click this location here. That is representing this part of the other window. So let's see what happens. It's a hit, we have a red X, and now it has changed turns. It's telling you that it's their turn, and it's telling them that it's their turn. So now let's click over here. Now I'm going to click on this spot, which corresponds to this spot over here. Let's see what happens. It's a miss. All right, so let's just kind of move this along a little bit. I'm going to try and sink the ship over here. So let's just get some moves in. There we go. So now Kez has sunk Gabe's ship. Gabe's ship has turned red, and on both client windows, the cruiser under Gabe's board has been crossed out because the cruiser is the ship that sunk. So let's move on a little bit here. Let's see, whose turn is it? All right, so I'm gonna make Kez win because I like winning. Here we go. So now we've sunk the destroyer on Gabe's screen. And let's go here. All right, now we've sunk his submarine. And where's the next one? We're looking here. We're about to sink the battleship. There it goes. And now for the carrier. Let's see. Here we go. All right, so here's where things get a little dicey. Kez is going to win, but at this point we have some sort of communication issue and it's not realizing that Kez has won. So I've done this and now it's still requesting turns. So instead of demonstrating what happens when someone wins, I'm going to show you what happens when someone exits before the game is over. So since it is this person's turn, I will let them exit. And it's going to tell the other client that was connected that their opponent has left the game. At this point, they can either safely exit or they can loop back to home. So let's see what happens there, since it's a little more interesting than closing the window. All right, so when you loop back to home, it takes you back to the game selection page. You can see, once again, users on the side here. One of our users unregistered, so that has been removed from the list. And like, as you can see over in this message here, they deleted their account. That was Daniel because he was frustrated. There are no games to join, so I'm just going to leave. All right. So there you have it. That is our Battleship game. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry that it's a long video, but it's a slightly complicated game. I hope you have a wonderful break.